Tembusu Grand PSF is trending around a range of 1,003.
And we convert it to a 3 plus flexi, it's actually about 5.15 in terms of length.
Step 2, 3 and 21, they are 5 baiters. They face internally towards the pool.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of our new launch studio review. I'm Wayne, I'm here again to bring you a review of another new and upcoming new launch. I think we are entering into a phase in a year where we have multiple new launches, and I believe the consumers like yourself, you will be spoiled for choices and you will want to know more about the upcoming projects in order to make the informed decision. So today we are going to right into the middle of D15, and of course behind me you can see a gemstone. This is basically an emerald, and I believe with this name it really gives you a clue of which new launch am I going to cover today. Of course, today I'm going to cover Emerald of Katong. So of course this project is located right in D15 area, and I'm sure you know that in D15 area there are already 3 new launches that have already launched and are already selling in the midst of selling as well. You have your Tembusu Grand, and if you happen to drive past Katong Road, you would have already seen that it is already like building very much ready to the top floor already. You have Grand Dunman, and of course you have Continuum, which is the freehold project of the 3 new launches. But of course today, Emerald of Katong is the newest kid on the block, and it is brought to you by Sim Lian Group. But before we go into the project facts, maybe I want to share a little bit about the whole origin of this name called Emerald of Katong. So according to the developer, of course, emeralds are basically very precious gemstones, and they are celebrated for their vibrant green hue and often relates to nature, to vitality, and to growth as well. So with Emerald of Katong, basically it is bringing and embodying the modern and elevated living experience. And with that, later on as I progress through the shoot, you will understand why are they saying this. So without further ado, let's take a look at the project facts. So of course, this project is done joint venture by Sim Lian Group. You have JV Katong Private Limited, and of course this land is a 99 years leasehold property. The age of this land starts from the year of November 2023. So, and because the age of the year starts from November 2023, do take note that this project basically is covered under the post-URA harmonization ruling, right? TOP date is estimated to be around June 2029. Site area is about 220,000 square feet. And this is basically of a larger land plot than the neighboring Tembusu Grand. Total units stand at 846, which is also a lot more than the neighbor. There are a total of 6 blocks ranging from 18 floors, 19 and 21 stories. 682 basement parking lots, of which 7 of them comes with EV charging point. And I think coming to this point, it will be, if I were to, for the lack of a better word, it will be weird if a developer doesn't give you a EV charging point in a development in today's age, because we have seen so many EV brands coming to Singapore, and a lot of people are walking down the EV path. And it will be, I would say, the developers is actually, they need to make sure that they are in line with the whole entire government plan of this whole entire EV plan. So I think this is a right move to go. In fact, 7 lots is considerably quite a high number of lots in a particular project. For the architect, this is done by MAN Architects LLP. Landscape is by Tinderbox, and of course the main contractor who is responsible for building the whole entire project is SNL City Builders. So of course when we come to this whole entire Sim Lian Group, they are basically no foreign name in today's in Singapore, because why? They bring with them more than 4 decades of experience of building residential projects, commercial projects, industrial projects in Singapore. The most recent one would actually be Botany. You have Treasure at Tampines, Wonderville, and Treasure Crest, to name a few of their portfolio. So right now, you may be wondering, where is Emerald of Katong? Let me bring out the street directory map, and I'm just going to draw a little bit on this screen. So just follow me as I am drawing. Just going to share with you where this project is. So this is, of course, Tembusu Grand. This is done by CDL. This is along the main Tanjong Katong Road. So this road, if you were to come in from Paya Lebar side, you will drive along this road, and it will brings you all the way down to Marine Parade area. Of course, Marine Parade, you will go via the Amber Gardens and down to the Marine Parade roundabout, and this will bring you to Marine Parade. You will find your Parkway Parade, shopping center, and stuff like that. Of course, the nearest MRT station will be Tanjong Katong station of the Thomson-East Coast Line. And this whole entire Thomson-East Coast Line has brought a lot of rejuvenation in terms of price movement, price appreciation for a lot of projects along the East Coast belt. And this Emerald of Katong, which we're going to share with you, this is located right over here where this star is. So if I'm just going to draw out, Emerald of Katong will be occupying this land right over here. And of course, there will also be a park that is being designated to be that's going to be constructed by the developer themselves. So this is where Emerald of Katong will be. The show flat will be along here as well. So you have to drive in from Markliston Road, and they will bring you into the show flat. This is right opposite Tembusu Grand, and if you were to drive along Tanjong Katong Road, you will definitely see the hoarding being set up already. And this is generally where the whole entire location is. Of course, this is D15. In terms of schools, you have plenty of schools. We're going to cover that later on. Of course, you are spoiled for choices in terms of F&B, in terms of amenities, in terms of transport, because you are just minutes away from ECP, right? And of course, if you want to walk, definitely you are able to walk to Tanjong Katong MRT station. The nearest entrance will be right over here where I'm circling. Of course, you have to cross the main Mountbatten Road if you want to do that. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you an aerial view, of course, of how the Emerald of Katong and the potential residents will be looking at. This is not the north-south view. This is looking down towards more of like the southwest direction. So where Emerald of Katong will be, this is actually where the site. So this will be Emerald of Katong, all right? Tembusu Grand is right over here, and there will be a park that's going to be built around here. So this half of the land will belongs to Emerald of Katong, and of course, for those higher floor units, definitely in a way you will be being marketed to have a sea view, and definitely you will also be able to see that as well, because the Ola Residences, which is your closest development, is of a certain height, and in a way you will be of higher height than the next nearest buildings. But what I'm going to share next would be the transport, right? So I've already drawn out the potential pathway of where the side gate will be. Of course, the main gate will be right over here for Emerald of Katong. There's a side gate that allows you to walk through the park, and you'll be able to walk along the main road, cross the Mountbatten Road, and this will lead you into Katong MRT station of the Thomson-East Coast Line. And with that line, basically, it is a very convenient line. It will brings you to the main downtown. It will brings you to the East-West line, North-South line, North-East line, interjunctions, interchange, and this is actually where convenience will be. I have also did a calculation in terms of distance estimate. Probably this is done by Google. It's brings you to about 680 meters. The next thing that I want to share with you is, of course, the whole entire plan in that area, so that you are aware right now when you're buying into Emerald of Katong, what is going to happen around you. And by that, we will have to refer to the URA master plan. So of course, with the URA master plan, this is where things get a bit more interesting. Just to orientate you about a little bit, this is the main Tanjong Katong Road. This is Emerald of Katong. This is the park that they will build, and this is where Tembusu Grand is. Now, you will notice that there is also another residential plot right over here that is at 3.5, of which plot ratio similar to Emerald of Katong. And in a way, we do not know when this will be developed into a residential site, or when URA will open up this land for tender, for developers to buy this land under the GLS scheme. But right now, definitely, you have a very good distance of where Emerald of Katong is versus the nearest, if I erase away this part, right, versus your next, which is Ola Residences right over here. So in a way, you will basically get the sea view if you are buying those units that's facing towards the the southeast direction, right? And When you look at this, of course, the next big thing that you would think about is, of course, the appreciation potential and opportunity. Because once you enter in over here, the first mover will actually be Tembusu Grand. Emerald of Katong is actually the next project, and thereafter you will have another new project right over there, which also potentially means that there may be a room and there may be an opportunity for your price to appreciate as well, because it will always be pegged against the newest project in that area. Next one that I'm going to share with you is actually the amenities. Of course, this is basically done by developer. They actually share with us that, in terms of the Emerald of Katong around the area, how fast are you? You're basically 5 minutes away from Tanjong Katong MRT station. If you want to cycle, of course, 5 minutes will bring you to East Coast Park, I-12 Katong, PLQ Mall, and this is basically Parkway Parade, is just to name a few of the amenities around in your area. In terms of schools, right, of course, within 1 kilometer, you have Tanjong Katong Primary School and Head Girls School. In terms of tertiary education, like secondary school, of course, you have your Zhongquan High School main that's just right around opposite you in Gumen area, and of course, you have a couple of other educational institutions around there. Now, let's take a look at the project. And this is basically the 3D schematic drawing, but do take note, all these are basically, at the time of filming, a draft version. It hasn't been firmed up and finalized yet. But all in all, it basically gives you a good glimpse of how the development will look like. So do take note, this is basically north orientation and this is a park. You will have 6 blocks right over here, and they are basically being pushed all the way to the edge of the land so that you have a very good distance inside within the development for your amenities, and this is basically where you will find most of your amenities, which we will share with you later on in a site plan. And one thing to note as well, one main difference is also Emerald of Katong basically comes with a basement car park, and we have talked about that several times before, how we compare projects between those that comes with a basement parking and those that comes with a multi-story car park, and there are basically differences in there in terms of construction time, in terms of construction cost, and of course to a residence, the convenience of a basement parking that you'll bring to you. And because of this basement parking, the whole entire project is elevated. In a sense, even if you are the ground floor unit, the patio unit, you are already of a certain height away from the road line, which means that you will not be looking, or rather anybody that is outside or at a facilities area, at a park area, they will not be looking right into a unit because you are already elevated upwards. As I mentioned again, landscape and pools are all sitting right in the middle, and one of the reasons of why they want to have this distance is because when we take a look at the URA, I would say tender document, when they want to put out for tender and for developers to bid for the land, they have a certain set of requirements that the future potential developer who manage to get the land will have to abide to in terms of the construction of the project. And for Emerald of Katong, they have already stated that you have to have this distance that's right in the middle. I believe it's about 40 meters kind of distance. Why is that so? Is because it wants to the whole entire gap has to run in parallel with this road over here, and this is where you see all the black and white conservation houses by URA, and this is also to protect the view as well and to ensure that there's a certain level of wind flow. And within this development, of course, because of this kind of placement and the kind of view, over here at this side you will see the neighborhood park, and this is where you get your Emerald Club, and this is also where you will get your gym. Your main function area, like for example your barbecue area and all your facilities, the rest of the other facilities like your gathering area, this is all at your beach club that is facing towards the black and white houses. Lastly, to show you the schematic drawing, this is also to denote the different stories among the 6 blocks in Emerald of Katong. You have 2 lower floors, which is 18 and 19, and by the way, block 59 is they consider what they call the Lux block, the luxury block, because why? In this particular block, you will only find the 4-bedders and the 5-bedders, of which the 5-bedders will come with a private lift. Otherwise, the rest of the other blocks are all 21 stories, as you can see in block 51, 55, 57, and 63. In a way, it's also very, done up in a, I would say, quite a balanced way, because the lower blocks are at the diagonal end of the development, whereas the higher end blocks are all at the other diagonal end as well. So this is basically how it looks like in terms of the site plan. So now, if you look at the whole entire site plan, the main entrance is along Jalan Tembusu. Right? So if you were to come in from the Tanjong Katong Road, you will do a left turn, and this is where you will enter into development. This is good because why? You are not entering from the main Tanjong Katong Road, which is, it can be quite heavy in terms of during the peak hours. So you turn into Jalan Tembusu, you enter into the development via here. And of course, this is where you will enter into the basement parking, right, which is G right over here. This is the fireman access. This is where you will get into the development. So this is the main ingress and egress area, right? Let me see what else over here. So this is the guard house, is right over here, and you basically get a full facilities. And in fact, they have various zones that have already been identified over here. So like this is the main entrance area. You have a couple of other zones around the whole entire development. And what I really like about this layout is that you can see that the distance between the blocks are very well spaced out. So for those of you who likes to go for the inner facing units, maybe because you do not want to face, the other developments, or you do not want to face a future development, for example, then you may be considering those as inner facing units. And this is where it basically gives you a very good distance between one another. Just to show you a diagram of how the main entrance looks like. Sorry, just gonna exit this. So this is basically how the grand entrance will look like. And this is the number 7. This is the welcome pavilion where the star is. And this is just basically illustration to show you how potentially the developers have envisioned the various facilities to be like. Next one we have right over here. This is actually the function room. That's number 6, and number 6 would be the Serenity function room right over here, which is overlooking the 50 meters lap pool. This is basically how it looks like if you are standing from the end looking at the Serenity function room. The next one, of course, will be the main pool, which is this, the main lap pool. One of the visuals to show it to you. You have also, this is number 28. Number 28 is actually the, call it the relaxation pool with a depth of 0.8 meters. So you can see that this is also how it looks like as well, an aerial view. If you are in one of the unit that is the inner facing stack, probably not so high. This is probably about mid-floors, mid-stories. This is basically what it will look like if you were to look down. I would say that this is actually a pretty nice feel because it's very much like a kind of resort style, various blue water bodies in the middle and some greens as well. So this basically gives a very nice vibes as well. This is another perspective as well. This is number 37. 37, what do we have over here? We have, let me see. Yeah, these are all the spa decks, right? And this is basically where you have some sitting areas for you to relax, for you to chill out, for you to have a conversation with your friends. And this is also one of a sitting area as well. Because of Emerald of Katong being located in Katong, they want to pay reference to the whole entire vibes in the Katong area, the Juche area. And that's the reason why in some of the design, you can see that they basically follows the whole entire D15 vibes and the design elements in the development itself. So this is the barbecue pavilion, and you can see that this is basically overlooking into the black and white conservation house by URA. Lastly, we have the gym that is overlooking the green park that is being that's going to be built as together with the development. And I would say that this whole entire field, right, it's actually a very nice vibes altogether. You get a basement parking, you get also a tennis court right over here, and the whole entire facilities. And I would say that the blocks itself takes up, if I don't recall wrongly, is about 30% of the whole entire land plot, with the remaining 70% cast aside for your facilities and your amenities. Next one that I want to share with you is basically the units distribution. This is very important because if you want to know, like in terms of this developer, what kind of units and mixtures are they looking at, are they considering to bring to the market. And for a main, I would say a luxury development in D15 area, of course, you'll be targeting towards the investors, the singles, a family owners, and even, in fact, maybe some of them, you will also be like your private landed downgraders who wants to move into a condo facilities. And that's the reason why from Sim Lian, when they design Emerald of Katong, they have one bedder, 1+ study. They don't have one bedder. The smallest unit is 1+ study, all the way to the 5-bedroom luxury version. So do take note, this square feet is basically the post-harmonization square feet. And what does that mean? Just to do a quick recap, when the URA does the harmonization of the strata space, it means that they do not factor in any of the size spaces that is from the AC ledged. So any AC ledge does not constitute right into the strata space, which means that this number that you see over here basically refers to majority of the unit that you get within the, you get the space within the unit. So if you want to factor in a AC ledge, probably you plus about another about 20 to 25 or even 30 square feet into the number, and that will be basically what you get from those projects that are selling pre-harmonization, for example, Tembusu Grand. So 1+ study, 484 square feet, all the way ranges down to the 5 bedrooms luxury, which is 1,561 square feet. In terms of units distribution, you can clearly see that the developer places not a lot of attention on the 1+ study, right? You only have about 82 units, which is about 3 stacks, thereabout, and that basically forms 10% of the overall units distribution. With that, you get a majority of them coming from a 2-bedder, the 3-bedder, and thereafter you have your 4-bedder that stands at close to 20%, and last but not least, your 5-bedders at 4%. So you can see that developers wants to go for the mainstream family owners with the 3-bedders, as well as also maybe some of the young singles investors looking for the 2-bedders. And this basically forms more than 50% of the overall 846 units in Emerald of Katong. This is the site distribution. So of course, this is the units distribution in terms of the overall block. You can clearly see that over here, block 59, this is the one that comes with the full luxury. You have your 5-bedder and your 4-bedder right over here. So I also want to share with you, like in terms of the whole entire D15 area, where are all the different projects and what are the kind of like units are you looking at, so that at least you know that as a person that's going to buy into a development in the area, well, what is going to be the supply in that place. So this is done up to show you probably within 1 kilometers, or rather this is within D15 projects that has more than 100 units count. This is basically the projects that we have right over here in the D15 area. Of course, your Tembusu Grand, Continuum, and Grand Dunman, these are all your new projects, and Emerald of Katong will be the newest one. You can see that in terms of the units, kind of like mixture, this color basically refers to the 1-bedder or the 1+ study. The orange color refers to the 2-bedder, and the pink refers to the 3-bedder. So you can clearly see that all the newer projects, basically they have quite a good mixture of 2-bedder and 3-bedders. So if you are going to buy the 2-bedder and 3-bedder, you will probably expect that there will be quite a lot of supply of newer flats or newer units that's going to TOP in that area, and that potentially, if you want to exit in future, this will be your competition that you'll be facing. Of course, the older projects, you have more of the bigger size units. But all in all, basically, you can see that in terms of new projects, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that basically fits into this criteria. Next, you also want to know that now if I want to buy into Emerald of Katong, you will also want to do a bit of comparison, and very likely you also want to compare against your neighbor and see what are the options that's available right over there, what's the pricing, and very common, just a very quick view and a quick glance through is that right now in Tembusu Grand, you don't have any more 2-bedder. You only have 4 units of 2+ study available, and this is basically a price range of the units for the 1+ study all the way to the 5-bedders in terms of the units. So basically, you still get quite a high number of 3+ study, your 3-bedroom, and of course your 1+ study that is standing at about 19 units right now. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the floor plans, and of course this is something pretty interesting. Why? Because when we do a bit of comparisons, we realize that Emerald of Katong, they basically have a very good units, I would say the floor design, the kind of space, and when we do that comparisons, I have also done a comparison against Tembusu just to give a reference point of what you're getting in terms of the different kind of sizes. So with that, maybe I'll just share with you the 1+ study in our Emerald of Katong first. So let's come to the screen. Smallest unit stands at 484 square feet, and basically this number includes the 5 square meters of the balcony, which is right over here. So if you have seen a lot of the new developments nowadays, this is basically a very standard kind of 1+ study. Of course, the study, different developers will have different kind of like implementation of where the study area will be. Some of them will place it beside the kitchen, opposite the kitchen. Of course, right in this floor, Emerald of Katong, where they place the study is actually in the master bedroom area. So in a way, this is also in a better use of space, because why? It allows you to enlarge the master bedroom, and it also makes sense that you probably will want to work in your bedroom, and thereafter, you know, if you want to go and do a rest, you want to rest, it is also easy as well. And this is also like a very flexible kind of use of space. Either you want to turn it into a study, or you want to have an extra space for you to place a chair for you to relax. This is basically a space that you can utilize without, you know, putting it in the main area where you already have your living area, and it basically maybe it's into your kitchen area. And with all 1+ study, usually the kitchen will be like a kitchenette, and what you get is a washer dryer right over here, and thereafter a dining and a living and a balcony. So it's very linear, kind of like, or rather in a way portrait kind of like layout here for 1+ study. So in 1+ study, in terms of the units distribution, right, you can see that over here, just to orientate a bit here as well. So this is the neighborhood park. Side gate is here. Main entrance is here. So you get 1 stack, 2 stack, 3, and 4. So these 2 stacks will be facing towards the outer, and you have 1 inner facing stack and another outer facing stack that is towards the green field right now. So there are total 4 stacks of 1+ study. And of course, if you are buying for own stay, then probably you want to find one that has a better facing. But if you are buying for investment, then of course the quantum will be the most important factor. The next one that I'm going to talk about will be the 2-bedroom premium. And of course, for 2-bedroom premium, they have a couple of floor plans. This is just one of them. This is standing at 624 square feet. Dumbbell layout. Personally like it a lot, because why? It basically makes a very efficient kind of space. You don't have a lot of wasted foyer area. Once you enter, you have a kitchen on the right side, and you have a dining area that's immediately right opposite it. And thereafter, you have your 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom, and of course the bathrooms are all at the side. The one thing to note is that because this is a unit that is in the middle of the block, as you can see over here, in the middle of the block, you will not be able to get any form of ventilation in the bathrooms, and that is usually the case for units that are stuck in the middle of the block. The next one will be a slightly bigger layout, 646 square feet. You have a bigger space for the kitchen, and then the dining area is at the other end. Similarly, this is also a dumbbell layout as well. The next one will be a 2+ study, right? So 2+ study, you have your 678 square feet, slightly bigger. And where does that bigger space goes to? Of course, it goes to your study area right over here. So the moment you enter in from the main door, you have a kitchen on the right side, and thereafter the main living area opens up to create this little space for your study area. Whether or not you will get an AC over there, we do not know yet until we go to the show flat to have a look, but definitely you will have AC in your bedrooms, living area, and probably in your dining area. But otherwise, this is very similar to your 2-bedroom premium layout, just that you have an extra space over here that is being designed for your study. Next one, we're going to have a look. It will be the show flat unit. So in show, there are basically 4 units being built for the show flat, and actually, I would say that that's quite a lot in today's day and age, because usually you get maybe 2 units to show for the show flat. For Emerald of Katong, you basically get 4 units. The first unit that you will get to see at the physical show flat will be your 2+ study, standing at 689 square feet. This is the one that is pretty common that you will see nowadays in terms of where the study room will be placed. It will not be opposite the kitchen, but it will just be right outside the master bedroom, or it will be right outside one of the bedroom. In this case, you get it right outside common bedroom number 2. So you have a study area over here before you enter into the bedroom. So it really depends on how you want to use this space, whether do you want to combine this to make it into a one bigger room, right? But otherwise, you basically get a little corner for your study area that's combined into the entrance of your bedroom number 2, which is a common bedroom. You get a kitchen that is basically more, I would say, probably elongated. You walked in and basically you get a deeper kitchen, and of course, your fridge will be located right in this corner. And by doing that, it means that there's no way for you to probably place in a bigger fridge because the space is rather limited. But this is basically a unit that you will see in the show flat as the smallest unit on show. 2 plus study, another layout. Similarly as what you've seen earlier on, this is slightly bigger. I believe it's more towards the front entrance area. This is also the study area that is right outside your bedroom number 2. The next one will be the 3-bedder. 3-bedder stands at 883 square feet. This is basically the smallest 3-bedder unit that you will get in Emerald of Katong. One thing to note is that, I mean, personally, I'm not really a fan of this kind of entrance, but there are people who like it. Why? Because they say that it actually provides a lot of privacy to the main to the owners of the place, because if you're in the living area, people that are standing right at the main door, they will not be able to look right into a unit to see the activities. And it is also designed this way because of the location of the unit. Because if you look at the block, this is located right at the side, so it has to compensate in terms of the entrance into the main living area. And henceforth, the design of this unit at type C1 basically have this kind of entrance. Kitchen-wise, this is basically an enclosable kitchen, and I presume, and I believe it is one. This is basically, if I'm not wrong, this should be a glass that allows lights to come into the kitchen, so that it allows the whole entire kitchen to light up. Plus, there's also a window here as well. You have your 2 bathroom and 3 bedrooms all at the opposite side of one another, and this is basically a very typical kind of 3-bedder that you will get to see in today's context. Next one that we're going to have is type C2, slightly bigger, 904 square feet. I believe the main difference would actually be the main foyer area right over here. I'm not going to go into details. The next one that we're going to talk about is 3 plus study. So for 3 plus study, there's 2 different types of layout, plus also a 3-bedroom plus flexi. That's a very interesting kind of like layout. This is where the study area is, right? So the main difference, this is more of a much more straightforward kind of entrance foyer. You get a little store on this side, a nice touch, because you don't get a household shelter, but at least they build a small little area for you to store your stuff. And because 3-bedders, generally your target audience, families, and generally you have probably a couple of things that you want to store that you don't really use often. And this is a very nice touch from Sim Lian Group. Kitchen-wise comes with a standard kitchen plus a yard and a WC. So this 3 plus study, if you still remember the 3-bedroom, the normal 3-bedroom does not come with a yard, utility area, and a WC. So for 3 plus study, you get one right over here. But the main difference would actually be that the unit is being stretched a little bit so that it allows you to have the study that is right over here. But do take note, this is basically a space that probably you may be able to enclose it if you want to. If not, I believe this area will also come with an AC, and you can use this as study area, a music room. It's basically down to your own flexibility, right? Next one over here, this is the one. This is 990 square feet. It's pretty much similar in layout. I'm not going to go into details, but what they have in the show flat is basically this 3-bedroom flexi. So what's the difference between this 3-bedroom flexi and this 3-bedroom study is in the wall, right? So you can see that this wall in a normal 3-bedroom study is of a thicker wall, and I would believe that this is something that you cannot take down, right? And for the next one, 3-bedroom flexi, you'll notice that the main difference is actually right over here. So I suppose that this potentially may be a wall that you can knock down, right? And this is where you can then enlarge the whole entire space to create more like an L-shaped kind of living cum dining area, or you can turn this into a flexi, whatever you want to use it, and henceforth the name flexi, right, for this particular layout. Otherwise, the rest of the other orientation of the place, the yard, WC is very similar to the 3-bedroom study, right? And this is standing at 990 square feet. All right, so the next one that we're going to go into would be, so this is a slightly bigger 3+ study. You realize the size is standing at 1,023 square feet. Why it's the difference is that you get a bigger storeroom, right? I'm sorry, you get a bigger storeroom right over here, and you get a study that is smack in the middle of bathroom 2 and bathroom 3, right? And this is basically, I would say that this is more private in a sense if you want to use this as a study room, because you just have to do up a door right over here, and you create a little room for you to utilize this as a study. In fact, if you want to combine this as part of your master bedroom, you potentially can do that. How do you do that? Is basically by moving the door to your master bedroom outwards over here, so that you create this bigger space for your master bedroom. So I believe this is one of the potential change that you can look at if you were to buy into this particular floor plan. Next one that we're going to talk about will actually be your 4-bedroom study. So this 4-bedroom study has this what I call like the junior master and the master kind of layout, except that this 4th bedroom is not really a junior master because it is combined into the study area. So as you come in, this is the layout that you will get: a dry kitchen, a wet kitchen, and a more of like a open concept kind of like living and dining area. You get a storeroom over here, and your master bedroom actually comes with a slightly bigger kind of wardrobe that is designed more like a walk-in kind of feel, except it's like a double galley kind of style. So you get left and right wardrobe before you enter into the master bath. Of course, the whole entire master bedroom space will also be slightly bigger than the 3-bedder. Next one that I'm going to share with you about, this is also the 4+ study, similar as well, just that it's on the flip side. So I'm not going to go into details on that. This 4-bedroom premium, well, with a star, it refers to the show flat unit. So once you see the word premium, you get a home shelter within the unit. Right, you get a home shelter within the unit, you get a dry kitchen, wet kitchen, and right now you notice that the whole entire living space becomes what we call a wide angle kind of layout. This becomes bigger, and what this means is that potentially it gives you a lot more flexibility. As you can see over here, they denote this mark with a dotted line, and I believe what they meant over here is that you potentially can turn this into a study area if you want to do that. Otherwise, if not, this will then be your whole entire living space. Why? Because your dining area will be at this part of the house. Right? This is being a 4th bedroom with premium. You also get the same kind of experience in the master bedroom, the kind of layout with a double galley kind of entrance, except that your 4th bedroom will be your 4th bedroom will be on this part of the house. You get a 2-bathroom configuration with a WC in this particular 4-bedroom premium. So now, where is this 4-bedroom premium located? All right, so it's located in 3 stacks. Here, number 40, 24, and 17. So you get 2 inner, basically you get all inner facing stacks. And personally, I prefer the inner facing stacks, and this is actually a very good orientation. If you want to be very close to the main entrance, you want to be very close to the neighborhood park, then very likely you'll be considering the block number 63, stack number 40 for the 4-bedroom premium. The next 4-bedroom premium is also pretty similar in the kind of layout, except that they have a much bigger kind of entrance foyer, but otherwise the main units remain the same. Right, and in terms of, this is only one stack, which is stack number 3, right, over here. The next one will be the 4-bedroom luxury. So when you talk about lux, the moment you see the word lux, you know that this is basically in the luxury block, which is here in block 59. So you have the 4-bedroom lux over here and a 5-bedroom lux in these 2 stacks. So now let's see what's the difference in a 4-bedroom lux unit. The moment you step in, right, you get to see a dry kitchen, And for Lux unit, of course, the whole entire materials are different. Developers will be giving you marble floorings. You have a wine chiller right over here. You have quite a couple of other appliances like your fridge. You have a very big kitchen, a yard area, a home shelter, a study area that's more like a Jack and Jill kind of concept that is being merged together with your bedroom number 2. And your master bedroom, your wardrobe is really a lock-in experience because the entrance into your wardrobe is not face-to-face, it's not directly opposite the entrance into your master bath. You enter, and basically that's how you enter into the master bathroom. So you get a much bigger wardrobe space in the master bedroom. You also get a space for a little dressing up area, dresser area, or even a small little work area as well in a master bedroom. So this is the 4-bedroom Lux, size standing at 1,302 square feet. Right, the next one that we have is over here as well. So this is pretty much similar, slightly similar as well, just that the orientation is a bit different. The last one that we're going to talk about will be the 5-bedroom Lux. So 5-bedroom Lux, this is the one that does not come with a lift. The one that comes with a lift is this particular layout, which is the 1,561 square feet layout. So this is the layout that basically gets all the bells and the whistles. You have, let me see what's O&S. O&S actually stands for oven and steamer. You have your wine chiller, your household shelter, your fridge, your washer dryer, right? So this is the 5-bedroom layout. You have a private lift, and this is your private lift foyer area. The moment you enter in, you get a very, I would say a very squarish kind of like opening to your living and your dining area. Just gonna erase that part away. So you have 5 bedrooms, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th bedroom over here. You don't have a junior master kind of layout. So all the bedrooms are all at one side of the unit. Of course, in the master bedroom, it's very similar to what you get in a 4-bedroom Lux as well. A study area, a little work area, a bigger walk-in closet into your master bathroom. You get his and her sink, as you can see over here. You get a bigger standing shower area. But what you get is actually a much bigger kitchen. So because why? You get a dry kitchen right over here and a wet kitchen, a yard, and your washer dryer area, plus also a home shelter, which potentially may be used as a place to house your live-in helper if you already utilized all the 5 bedrooms. But this basically is the top of the range, and this is basically what you will get in one of the show flat you will see if you were to visit Emerald of Katong show flat. All right, so coming back to a comparisons, right? So let me go back to the floor plans. As I've shared earlier on, we have done a little bit of the comparisons of what you're going to get in terms of the different, what you're going to get in Tembusu Grand, for example, in terms of the pre-harmonization versus Emerald of Katong, which is a post-harmonization. This is a similar 2-bedroom plus study. So on the left, on this left side, this is Tembusu Grand, size at 743 square feet, and this is Emerald of Katong at 678 square feet. So the good thing about having a smaller size is, of course, in terms of the quantum, developers may price it in a way that it becomes more of a more palatable kind of quantum because the size is smaller, but thereafter, it really depends on the PSF pricing. It really depends on the developers whether do they want to go the PSF play or the quantum play. But all in all, if you do take a look at the unit, basically they are pretty much similar in the overall kind of design. So of course in Tembusu Grand, you don't really get the kind of Jack and Jill. You don't get the kind of like dumbbell layout because the 2 bedrooms are at one side. But for Emerald of Katong, you get the master bedroom and the bedroom 2 on opposite side. And then the study area is right over here. Personally, I think this is I mean, I would like this kind of design because you're not really in a corner, right? You're not really in an enclosed space. This space, technically, if you want to merge it into the main dining area, you want to turn this into dining area, it's also pretty flexible in how you want to utilize the space, right? So the next one that I have prepared, this is actually the 3 bedrooms. Also pretty much similar as well, except that size-wise is 990 square feet. Slightly bigger unit slightly bigger size because they factor in the AC latch. And for Emerald of Katong, you have 883 square feet. that is more of the internal space because the AC latch is not part of the plan. The main difference, of course, you can see over here is that for Tembusu Grand, you get a dry kitchen and a wet kitchen, so slightly more luxurious. Whereas for for Emerald of Katong, you get a squarish kind of like kitchen layout, but you don't get the kind of like dry and wet kitchen. 4 bedrooms, you get 1,432 square feet as compared to 1,259. So this is really a big difference. But of course, this is the unit that actually comes with a home shelter, which is very similar as well. You get a yard and WC, likewise over here. The overall feel is pretty much similar, but what I like about Emerald of Katong design is, of course, in the living area, because this gives a lot of flexibility, right, to how do you want to utilize the main living area, whether you want to turn this into a study area or you want to use this as your main living area. Because if you were to buy into a 4-bedroom or 5-bedroom, a bigger unit, you want to walk into a living hall space that basically opens up and gives you the kind of space, right? And you do not really want to go for those kind of like portrait kind of like living hall layout. So for Emerald of Katong, it basically delivers the kind of experience. But of course, in terms of the bathroom, this basically comes with only 2 bathrooms for the 4 bedrooms layout. Whereas for Tembusu Grand, you get 1, 2, and 3 bathroom, which is a plus point. So there's give and take in terms of the difference kind of like layout for Tembusu Grand as well as Emerald of Katong. In terms of finishing wise, what we understand from the developer is that you will basically get branded finishing. So like Miele, you get Hans Grohe, in the bathroom. So these are all the top brands, and of course for selected units you get Vintech brands as well. So now coming to my last part of the analysis of Emerald of Katong. Should you be going to this project, and what is the potential price appreciation? What is the potential pricing that you'll be looking at? So with that, we definitely look at the overall kind of price mechanics, and to start off, we will look at the land price. Because why? From the land price, and because this is a GRS site, with the land price will basically determines the eventual developer's asking price. And very interestingly, for Emerald of Katong, the developer Sim Lian managed to get the price managed to get the land at a very good price. So this is just a quick overview of the various projects in the D15 area in terms of the land price, the price that they got it. So Grand Dunman, 1,003. Tembusu Grand, about 1,003 as well. Continuum, being a freehold land, this is 1,488. Live at MB, which is pretty, I would say about 1 to 1.5 years, 2 years old, it's about 1,002. Maya Blue is the recently launched project at Maya area. Land that they got there is 1,003. And if you look at Emerald of Katong, the developer got this price at $1,069. So when you look at this pricing, then you will ask, will the developer of Emerald of Katong price Emerald to be lower price than Tembusu and Grand Dunman? I mean, end of the day, developers, they also want to make money. Will they price to be relatively, if you're the markup about 20%, there's a certain formulas to calculate, right? But end of the day, what we believe is that they may potentially price close, right, to Grand Dunman, right? Or maybe it really depends on the kind of strategy from a developer, whether it's a quantum play or a PSF play. But definitely in terms of PSF, it will be higher than the pre-harmonization projects. Because why? Quantum of $5 million versus against a bigger unit, basically a PSF is lower. $3 million to a PSF is lower as well as compared to a smaller area. The PSF will be higher, but quantum remains the same. So that's the main difference between pre and post harmonization. So this is also another map they have done up. Emerald of Katong is right over here. This is Grand Dunman. These are the average transaction PSF, right, at the point of filming. So for Grand Dunman, we are looking at average transactions across unit types at around 2,600 PSF. Continuum is around 2,800 PSF, and Tembusu Grand is around 2,400 odd PSF. For available units in Grand Dunman right now, you have quite a number of units, but the units are more of the premium ones. So quantum are generally a little bit higher for the 3-bedders or 4-bedders right over there in Grand Dunman. Of course, for Tembusu Grand, you have seen earlier on the remaining units available. So this is the average PSF that we are looking at, and I believe this can be a form of reference point to what is going to be eventually be the price of Emerald of Katong. I've also done up this table, we potentially may be looking at the pricing potentially between 25 to 27 PSF. So which is why I marked it in red color. The various bedrooms type, 1 bedroom all the way to 5 bedrooms, PSF that starts off from 2004 for the smaller unit, maybe you will go to 2000, slightly between 25 to 27 PSF. 1 bedder unit potentially may set you back to be $1.2 million. Anyway, this is to disclaim that this is basically a price projection. It does not translate to the actual pricing, and we will have to wait for the developers to announce when they start the preview, like what is the expected starting from pricing. And thereafter, we will definitely update this table, and when you come for a consult, we'll be able to share with you a more updated permutation of the various PSF to the unit kind of price expectations, right? But of course, you potentially what we are seeing is that you may be able to get a 3-bedder unit, right, in D15 area to be below $3 million based on the projected PSF. And I think this is something that is pretty interesting because right now, you know that if you're going to a resale to get a 3-bedder in the D15 area, the quantum is just going to be pretty high. But and the selling point for Emerald of Katong is definitely you may have the chance to buy a brand new project at the current resale pricing. And when we look at the kind of analysis, definitely the gap between the new launch and the resale is basically getting smaller and smaller. And this is why potentially we feel that Emerald of Katong would basically get quite a lot of eyeballs and attractions from the buyers, because this offers an opportunity for the price to appreciate in future. Just the form of reference again to Tembusu Grand. So 3-bedder, right now, they are also going at $2.6 million. 3+ study is also about $2.6 million. And if I look back at the table, $2.6 million will be around the PSF range of about 2,600 to 2,650, just to maintain the same kind of price quantum. So lastly, of course, when you buy into D15, you also want to know like what is the future kind of exit, the kind of like growth. And I think we have talked a lot about the whole entire transformation of the D15 area, the Katong area, the East Coast area, just to bring up a couple of key highlights. Of course, the Long Island transformation, where you're going to get a lot more facilities, residential projects around the area. But of course, this is a long-term project. It's not something that you will probably see within the next 10 years. So this is a big, kind of like a big master plan of the East Coast area. And of course, the recently announced in National Day Rally of 2024, the Kallang Alive plan, where they have plans to rejuvenate the whole entire Singapore Sports Hub area. They're going to bring the Singapore Sports School to this place. So this is definitely a plus point for the residents that stay in D15. So to sum it up, if you are looking and if you want to buy into the D15 area and you want to go into a quantum that is very close and pretty close to today's resale pricing, and at the same time you want something that is luxurious, you want something that is conveniently located, and you want that kind of like price appreciation opportunity, largely because we do not know right now what is going to be the developer's pricing, but based on the land pricing, and just to quote a couple of examples, definitely when you come for the consult, we will be able to show you some of the case studies that we will reference against, like in terms of the historical data based on a similar kind of case study and scenario, what is the price kind of appreciation back then and to now, and likely what potentially will Emerald of Katong perform in future when the TOP versus the whole entire rejuvenation in the whole entire area. I think this will be a project that will be very interesting, because right now I believe you'll be comparing against this project and a couple of the other new launches that's going to come up in the later part of this year. And with that, we look at the pricing, the quantum, the PSF, for you to enter into D15 area. And when you talk about D15, of course, it's a totally different kind of district. It is a district that has a lot of cafe vibes. You like the kind of like lifestyle in the area. And if you have been in the East area, Easties, you will definitely be the one to look into the D15 area. And this brings new listings, 846 units of them, right, into the market, newer supply. And I think this is something that you may want to consider if you want to get into the Tanjong Katong area. So if you are interested to find out more, the preview of this development is going to come out very soon, probably by the end of this month. Do reach out to any of our sales consultants. We'll be more than happy to run you through the whole entire plan of Emerald of Katong. We can share with you the whole entire site plan analysis, the numbers analysis, and if you want to find out more, we'll be able to share with you more information. Do reach out to our new launch consultants teams. Details are right below in the video. And with that, I've come to the end of the new launch studio review of Emerald of Katong. Do take note and stay tuned to our show flat tour, which we're going to bring to you and show you the actual show flat unit. And with that, I've come to the end of this review. I hope you like the content and hope that you find this beneficial. Do remember to follow our PLB Insights channel for more updates, as well as also our editorials team articles as well. So my name is Wayne. Thank you very much for staying with me throughout this whole entire episode. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.